Terraria 1.4.5 has been in development for over 2 years now, and it's safe to say there's been quite a lot of spoilers for this update. If you've not been following along, or you just need a big recap, here is every single spoiler for Terraria 1.4.5. After this video, you'll know everything there is to know about this update, but if you want to stay in the loop moving forward, now's a great time to hit the subscribe button. Now, the first thing we've got to talk about is the recently announced Palworld x Terraria crossover. The thing is though, as of right now, we don't know if Palworld content will be making it to Terraria, but we do know about the crossover with Dead Cells. As for the Dead Cells part of this update, we know that we're getting something for each class and some extras on top. We've seen the Mushroom Boy summoning weapon, the killing deck, the Flynn, the beheaded Vanity outfit, these hanging jars, the barnacle staff, a health fountain that you can place down and get a buff from, and the ram rune. For builders, we know about Ethereum furniture, cloud platforms, hallowed armor, themed furniture, fallen star furniture, placeable permanent critters, and kites can now be tethered to the ground. As for pets, we've seen a new pufferfish pet and this Sen axe pet which also chops down trees. Next is Vanity and Armour, starting then with the Heroics Vanity set, which also comes with a film noir filter, although this might not be like strictly tethered to the Vanity set. Chicken Bones is getting his own developer armor. You can now rock a bikini and shorts. To complete the set, we're getting a Moonlord chest piece. There's a new hairstyle based on Red's own hair. Right now, these are believed to be upgraded mining and fishing gear, although they could be completely vanity. These heart-themed vanity items. And there's a new headpiece for Glorify armor, which is very likely going to be Summoner. As for new weapons, we've seen the Axorang, which lets you chop down trees. Several new whips like the Vasculash, Soul Scourge, this White Whip, a Duke Fishron Whip, Stardust Whip, a Moonlord Whip, and this Plantera themed whip. Mud balls are being reintroduced as a throwable weapon. A slingshot is being added that can also fire acorns and plant trees. And finally, the magic yo-yo bag, which allows your yo-yos to fly off. Just like how Lilith's necklace allows you to transform into a wolf, we're getting quite a few transformations in this update, including a dinosaur transformation, a bat transformation, a rat transformation, and announced recently, a fairy transformation. Now let's talk about new items. We're getting ice bombs which can freeze water, greater bombs that can blow up hard mode ores, chest hoppers which will automatically pull items into chests just like in Minecraft, a new building item called the Mighty Tighty. Now this could be an item or an event or a potion or an accessory, I'm not sure, but it will automatically change torches to match the biome they're placed in, which is kind of like Torch God's favor. There's a CRT TV statue which will apply a CRT filter when activated. There's a new accessory called the Stress Ball, which auto attacks when not moving and also works with extractinators. Rollerblades are being added as a mount, which makes placing platforms easier, and they also grind on rails. Jungle Juice is a new potion crafted from 3 greater healing potions and a life fruit and heals for 180. They're adding infused fertilizer, which allows acorns to grow into really big trees like the ones you see at the start of your world. And announced recently, Rock Candy, a new food item that's made from gem critters. Moving on to enemies then, we know about cloud slimes that contain cloud block and float, moonglow slimes that glow and plant moonglow. There are slimes with dart traps inside. I'm not sure if these are a new variant of slimes or existing slimes, but slimes can now change color when they land on painted blocks. And these two are friendly, I think. Orcas and pufferfish. As for new events, we know about the meteor shower, which will rain down meteor ore. Lightning is also being added, I imagine as part of the Windy Day event, and this can cause embers when striking a tree and can also supercharge enemies as well. There's also boulder rain, which causes boulders to fall from the sky. And as for some other boulders, we know about the rainbow boulder, which will bounce between ores and chests. We might be getting boulders that fall upwards, and the worst one, poo boulders. Yeah, That's a thing. Moving on then to quality of life. One of the first things we learned about is a new shimmer water gun, which will allow you to easily get the shimmered variants of NPCs. The character and world menu now has a flag system, which shows which players have recently visited which worlds. When you die in multiplayer, you'll automatically be thrown into spectate mode. The game's lighting system has been heavily improved with these light rays that beam off the sun and through the clouds, and potentially we're getting Aurora Borealis too. In multiplayer, at the end of a boss fight, you can now pull up a statistic which shows which players did the most damage. Pumps no longer burn in lava. Bubble blocks now retain water after logging out. When fishing, you'll actually be able to see fish swimming around in the water, which is so cool. You can now change the color of presents before placing them. Iron Skin and Swiftness potions might be getting new designs to become more accessible as they look quite similar. Wormhole and Potions of Return will be easier to obtain. When creating a character, there are now multiple player hurt sounds to pick from and also a pitch slider. And we know some of the new hurt sounds include zombie, turkey, a chicken, and an arcade machine. And the theory right now is that all these unknown accessories are also new hurt sounds. Conveyor belts can now move enemies and can also be placed vertically. To prevent skipping, reforging now pauses and plays an animation when you land on a good reforge. And finally, banners now have their own menu and need to be claimed so that they don't clog inventories. I'm not going to break these down individually, but we're getting quite a lot of new paintings in the update, so if you want to pause, here are all of the new paintings that we know about so far. And because there's so many, here's a look at some of the resprites that are happening in this update. Most notably, banners, weapon racks, trophies, and the Moonlord himself. One of the most exciting things about the update is new music tracks. We're getting at least 10 new music tracks, and so far we've heard the Twins, the Eater of Worlds, and King Slime. We know for sure Skeletron is getting a new track alongside Skeletron Prime, and Red has teased that the Torch God will also be getting a music track. One of the big things in this update is a change to secret seeds. If you don't already know, there are special seeds that you can enter when generating a world that have special effects. Like if you enter Not the Bees, you get a whole world that's basically jungle and bee biome. Because these were so secret for the majority of the community, when generating a world, you'll now see a seed menu where you can learn about all of the different secret seeds, and most importantly, you'll be able to combine them. Although we don't know which combinations have what effects, some of the combinations we have seen include this shimmer beach, this jungle-themed dungeon entrance. One combination will enable flooding via rain. This giant tree plays a factor, I think. Skyblock and Don't Dig Up have a combination. And on the topic of Skyblock, the Skyblock seed is like its own thing in this update, with a lot of the new stuff that we've already covered so far being introduced solely to make Skyblock even better. There's also a vampire seed where you'll burn in the sun, a new seed so heinous it makes Get Fixed Boy look easy, and potentially there's even more than this that we just don't know about yet. This final category is kind of hard to categorize. I just call it changes, like changes to things we kind of already know about. New achievements are being added. The Rubble Maker has been moved to pre-hard mode. Duke Fishron's Flail Ron has a new attack, but you can still use the old one. The Dryad will now sell all planter boxes in pre-hard mode. Stink Potions now have a use. There's been changes to the Harpoon. The Slime Staff will now be a drop from King Slime. Phase Blades now work completely differently, and they can even be thrown out and left in the ground for enemies to walk into. Clothier Voodoo Dolls are now stackable. For the Worthy Moonlord now has Moon Boulders, just like in the Zenith Seed. Rainbow Slimes have had their spawns increased, and they're now affected by players' luck. Echo Coat is now available in pre-hard mode. The Zombie Arm now slings gore. The Classy Cane now drops coins from enemies. They've added a small counter to show how many minions you currently have summoned. The Ale Tosser now has an ammo count, which is ale. Snowball launchers no longer require ammo, but do have a cooldown to prevent cheesing with them. Birds can have droppings, and critters can attack based on bad luck. up. Drills may be getting a new sound. Potentially, you'll be able to place the radio thing like a monolith. For Skyblock, potentially buckets can be filled up using rainwater. Potentially, again, you'll be able to cancel blood moons and solar eclipses. Smart Cursor is being looked at, which should help when trying to build arenas. Demon Altars, Life Fruit, Fallen Logs, and Shadow Orbs are now placeable. Paladin Shield now has an effect. Slimes have a chance to drop grass seeds, jungle grass seeds, and acorns to help in Skyblock. Jungle grass now grows on Lizard Brick, and it looks amazing. Changes are being made to Queen Bee to troll a lot less. And most recently, Reddit's talked about making changes to some of the dungeon weapons, although we don't know which ones. And there we go. That is pretty much everything we know about the update so far. But the best part about Relogic's updates is that even when they spoil quite a lot, they always leave surprises. 1.4.5 to me already seems massive, but it's likely it's gonna be bigger than this. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, now's a great time to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.